Life for All presents Daily Food Series, The Word of Life, The Fellowship of Life, and Living Stones for the Edification. The Epistles of John and Peter. Title of Book 6. The Prophetic Word, A Light That Shines in a Dark Place, by Pedro. Week 2. Partakers of the Divine Nature. Friday. The Model of the Early Church. Read with prayer. So continuing daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, they ate their food with gladness and simplicity of heart, praising God and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the church daily those who were being saved. Acts chapter 2, verses 46 and 47. The devaluation of the prophetic word after the time of Paul left the church in a state of degradation, which worsened over the course of 19 centuries. During this period, God used the Protestant Reformation to restore justification by faith. This brought in a certain degree of liberation from the absurdities and the excesses that devastated the church. However, little else was restored, and many deviations remained. In the 19th century, the Lord raised up and used a small group called the Brethren, who did away with hierarchy. They had no titles of pastor or reverend among them, and they referred to each other as brothers. Despite being frowned upon by other groups, they were faithful to the revelations they had received. Unfortunately, shortly afterward, there was a division among them. In the church in Sardis, many vices still remained. The Lord needed to restore the word of the apostles, because his power is in his word. For the Jews request a sign, and Greeks seek after wisdom. But we preach Christ crucified, to the Jews a stumbling block, and to the Greeks foolishness. But to those who are called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ the power of God and the wisdom of God. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 22 and 23. The word, without the power and wisdom of God, has no effect, because mere biblical and theological knowledge does not generate power. And my speech and my preaching were not with persuasive words of human wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power. Chapter 2, verse 4. Unlike theological and doctrinal messages, the word of the apostles had a demonstration of spirit and of power, so that faith would not rest on human wisdom, but on the power of God. The early church persevered in the apostles' teachings, and so God's work prospered, and they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, in the breaking of bread and in prayers. Acts chapter 2, verse 42. And again, and so continuing daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, they ate their food with gladness and simplicity of heart, praising God and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the church daily those who were being saved. Acts chapter 2, verses 46 and 47. It is unfortunate that different teachings have entered the church since the time of the Apostle Paul. As I urged you when I went into Macedonia, remain in Ephesus that you may charge some that they teach no other doctrine. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 3. In other words, do not teach anything different from what I teach, nor bring in strange teachings, nor pay attention to myths and endless genealogies which promote disputes rather than the edification of God in faith. These verses show us that the church needs to have fellowship with the apostles' teachings. The church prospers, multiplies, and grows thanks to the apostles' teachings. Praise the Lord, because the Spirit has led us to this. As soon as we receive a word from the Lord, its content is written in the immersion pamphlets and in more cries, and this word constitutes the content of our fellowship. Thus, signs, miracles, and wonders have happened again in our days because the Lord has freedom to operate among us.